At the beginning of a module, we first remind you where you're going in this course by reviewing the course map. The blue highlights your progress within the course. And second, we like to zoom into the module itself and show you the topics we're going to cover within this module. This process map reveals the numbers of topics we'll cover inside this module. You are currently on the first of our module topics. Now, let's join our teacher for this topic.
We've talked a little bit about minimizing costs in the past, and you want to just refresh everybody's memories about under retail buying versus over retail selling, Chris?
Oh, of course, because guys, the selling price, the market price, the price your items are going to sell for, that is set by the market. It's set by supply and demand. Those are the only things that are going to affect price on the marketplace. So you can't do a lot to mess with that. You can promote, you can try to do little things to, get a better price than your competitors, but you can lower your cost. You are directly impacting your profit and your margin. So everything that you can do, even if it's 1%, that adds up. If you spend $1 million on product, hey, that's 10 grand. If you just shave off 1% on your cost, and there are so many ways to do 1%, 1.5%, 2%, 2.5%, using rewards, using gift cards, using rebates, all these things. So don't let that pass you by. It's very easy to say, oh yeah, but I'm only doing like $5,000 a year in sales. Well, we don't want you to stay at $5,000 a year. We want you at $500,000 a year in sales, and the cost of products is going to lead you to that level of sales. You can lower those costs by 3%. That's like an extra car in your driveway, right? Like these are big numbers by the time you add them up. So every single thing that we can do to minimize cost, we want to do. And that goes into the two models that are out there, under retail buying and over retail selling, right? Now, if you do both of them, great. But for the most time, we're going to do one at a time. Now, the under retail buying, just like what it sounds like, we are buying at a price under retail. And for the most part, we need to be significantly under retail, because if we're selling at retail or at the market price, we got to compensate for Amazon fees and our time and our labor and everything that goes into it. So you want to be able to buy as far under retail as possible. And this is the real safety net. This is my favorite one to really hit home, to be like, guys, if you buy smart, if you buy low enough under retail, it can be very difficult to darn near impossible to lose money. And what goes along with that is make money, right? If it's impossible to lose money, that means you are therefore making money. And if you're just getting started, we want you guys to be very safe with your purchases. We understand you may not want to spend $5 grand on your first purchase, but if you buy significantly under retail, you'll be very safe, very insulated from the possibility of losing money. Now, what goes along with that is over retail selling. Just like I said, the price is set by supply and demand. That's it, right? So if there's too high a demand for the supply in the marketplace, the price is going to be higher than the equilibrium price. Same thing if supply is lower than demand than what can supply the demand, the price is going to be over retail. Now, those things happen because Amazon goes out of stock, or because a movie comes out, it's unpopular, or the forecasters were wrong, it didn't produce enough products. Think Frozen, right? Like, depending when you listen to this, you may not know or not know about Frozen, but they severely underestimated Frozen because it was on the back of, was it Brave that came out before Frozen, the last Pixar movie?
You're asking the wrong guy about Frozen movies or Disney movies.
Well, I've let it go, Chris. I've let it go.
Hey, sometimes you got to make like a Snow Queen and let it go. But these like Toys R Us sat on a lot of Brave merchandise. It was a female protagonist, a female, lead role, and the toys didn't do very well. So they were a little cautious on buying all the products. 2 Disney princesses, not just one. Now we're doubling down with two female characters,
and a
that's
snowman.
what went through their heads. So they didn't buy it, and then Frozen, of course, was a huge hit. They couldn't keep up with the product, so they were being sold at over retail prices. Very lucrative business model, but also more, I don't want to say very risky, because if you buy right and use all the information at your disposal, you can make very informed decisions and protect yourself. But there's no guarantee that the over retail is going to stay there forever. So that's to me, it's a get in, get paid, get out when it's over retail, because the only people that want that product to come back and more supply to come to the market, more than the parents who are spending $80 for Elsa dolls, are the toy manufacturers who are like, get the boat here as fast as possible, get the stuff on the shelves. I can't believe customers are leaving with a different product because our stuff's not on the shelves. They want that stuff on the shelves back at the normal retail price, because that's what's going to sell the most volume. That's why they set the price where they do. That's going to happen eventually.
Right.
Supply will always catch up to demand. Sometimes it will happen really quick. Sometimes it will take a long time. But when that happens, you're at that window of opportunity where you can sell at an over retail price and make that profit for those parents. Hey, I'm one of them. I have over retail paid because I didn't feel like messing with something. Right now, I know I overpaid, but I didn't have to run around to the stores. I had it on time, delivered to my door, nice and easy. Now, if you do both, buy significantly under retail and sell over retail, you're golden. You're doubling up. You're making lots of money, and that's what we should all be like hoping for. But building our businesses on repetitive, replenishable under retail products that we can buy and sell safely all year long, and then cash in when the over retail circumstances are present.
Yeah, and that may sound like a pipe dream to buy under retail and then sell over retail for somebody who hasn't done this for a while. But I'll tell you, there's a new line of Blaze toys, and when new lines come out, it's not uncommon for stores to run sales on them. So we've been buying those for $1 under retail. It's not a bunch, but it's $1 every one of the units that we sell, and we're selling them for over retail. Some of them up to $40 or $50, the harder to find ones. So that can happen, and it does happen even on the hot toys that are just released. And you mentioned, coming back in stock and suppliers catching up. You can see that now. We're doing this on August 10th in 2015. So depending on when you're listening to this will be more or less relevant. But the Shopkins craze, when it first came out, they had a hard time keeping stock, because really what they amount to is the little toys that you pay $0.25 for in the grocery store on the way out the door that the kids are always crying for. But they're in fancy packaging, and they've got YouTube videos, so they've got great marketing behind them. But now they've kind of caught up, and when they release something, it doesn't stay hot for very long. You used to have a nice window where you could resell those when you found them, and now those windows are shorter and shorter around season 3 now, and you just don't have those same kinds of opportunities that you did before. So.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this stuff comes and goes. Toys don't necessarily appreciate. I am frankly surprised that Shopkins has gone as long as it has. For season 3, still being sold over retail. I'm surprised. I would not have predicted that after season 1. I thought it'd be like a quick fad, but I was wrong. It's still going. But you guys have to remember, we live in a physical world with limitations, and some stores are going to get stuff first, and it's not always going to be Amazon. Right? It could be a product Amazon's going to get, but they're not going to get it for 6 weeks because of agreements different suppliers have with different distributors. If you can find it at the store and you can get it to market first, you're in a good position. People who get in first are the ones who make the most money. But this happens all the time. You just have to be willing to look for it and be willing to pull the trigger sometimes. Because sometimes you'll scan stuff and be like, no way, I can't believe that no one's listed this on Amazon yet. Well, yeah. And I'll tell you, the people who are going to have the biggest advantage, and I don't want to put this out there in case someone says, oh, I'm discouraged because I don't have that advantage, but if you are full-time, or if you are able to scan and scout and buy during the day when most people are at work, even though I know a lot of you guys do online arbitrage at work, most people are working 9 to 5 and don't have time to do this, or they get caught by their boss, and that's when the stuff hits the websites, and if you're there at the right time and you know what to look for, you got a really big advantage over someone who's working 9 to 5 and trying to do online arbitrage on the side. So if that's you, take advantage of that big time.
Absolutely, yeah. And you mentioned that the store exclusives, or stores that get the first releases of an item. Shopkins again is one of those things that fits that example, because Toys R Us gets those released before anybody. For some reason, they've got an agreement with Moose Toys, and they get the release first, and then eventually it trickles into other stores. So if you can find them there, and somebody doesn't have, I mean, when I grew up in upstate New York, we didn't have a Toys R Us within an hour of us. So somebody like that doesn't have one near them, they're not going to run all over town probably for that. They're going to go to Amazon for it.